Next, what we need to do is we want to analyze the composition table under consideration and see what properties the binary operation has. So here we won't go by the conventional procedure. We'll look at the composition table and we'll try to find out what properties it has. Again, I had said in my previous sum that composition table also gives certain features of the binary operation. Now, looking at the composition table itself, since I had defined A and B on the set of S, because it's A and B can only take the values A and B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So since S was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the column headers and the row headers are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which means A and B can only take the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have not put numbers other than those. So had I taken 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that would have raised a question as to why am I taking 7, 8, 9, 10. A and B cannot be 7 and 8, 9, 10, right? So that is the situation. Now what I see is all the elements of the composition table, A star B, essentially all the elements of the composition table are A star B, right? This is 1 star 1, this is 3 star 4, this is 4 star 2, this is 5 star 5. These are all A star B for different values of A and B under consideration for the elements of the set S, right? So all these elements, if you look closely, they are either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Now, none of the elements in the composition table are outside this range of numbers that we have considered. So that means for every A and B, if A and B are two elements belonging to the set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then A star B defined as AB modulus 7, which is remainder of AB by 7, will also be an element which belongs to the set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So by definition, the binary operation star, the operation star is a binary operation. So looking at the composition table, I can say that AB is a binary operation. So that's the first property done. This is a light color. Let me just take red. So by the first the first property, we can say that AB is a binary, star is a binary operation. The next we see is we need to see the commutative property of the operation. Again, this is a operation, this is a property that I had discussed when I was talking about a binary operation in my previous video. So you can take a look at it. What happens is, in order to see whether binary operation is commutative or not, you take this corner and you essentially create a mirror out of these elements, these boxes. These diagonal boxes are created to be a mirror. So let me just firmly mark this diagonal elements. So 1, 4, 2, 2, 4, 1. You just don't consider these elements. And what you do next is look at these elements in terms of a mirror. So it's like there's a mirror standing here, and you see whether this triangle, this section of the triangle is mirrored in this section of the triangle or not. So you see there's 2 on this side and there's 2 on this side. There's 3 on this side, there's 3 on this side. Let me just color them using different colors so it'll be easier for you to understand. Let's check. Yeah. So there's 2 on this side, there's 2 on this side. Take a different color, there's 6 on this side, there's 6 on this side. Take a different color, there's 5 on this side, there's 5 on this side. Take a different color. I don't think I have used these many colors in any of my videos yet. There's 6 on this side, there's 6 on this side. Finally, take a different color for anybody who likes purple. There's 2 on this side, there's 2 on this side. So you see all these numbers are exactly mirrored on both these sides of this diagonal that I've considered. So when this situation holds, the fact that this entire section is mirrored on this side of the section, that is, take a different color, reduce the opacity, this entire portion is mirrored on this side, then you say that commutative property holds. So you see this commutative, just by looking at the composition table, I can say whether the binary operation is commutative or not. I didn't even need to do any calculations. I can just say. The next property is the identity element. That is essentially the existence of identity element. Now, as I had mentioned again in my previous video, identity element is an element which when operated with gives the result to be the other number. So as I said, 1 times 1 is 1 star 1 is 1, 1 star 2 is 2, 1 star 3 is 3, 1 star 4 is 4, 1 star 5 is 5, 1 star 6 is 6. So 1 star any number returns the other number itself. Similarly, 1 star 1 is 1, 2 star 1 is 1, 3 star 1 is 3. I said 2 star 1 is 1. Sorry, 2 star 1 is 2, 3 star 1 is 3, 4 star 1 is 4, 5 star 1 is 5, and 6 star 1 is 6. So again, when I'm operating any number with 1, it is returning me the first number that I considered. So by definition, 1 is the identity element. So I can say that identity element exists without doing any calculation whatsoever, just by looking at the composition table. The final property that I'll be doing is, so I've done commutative property, I've done identity element, and I forgot to change the opacity. Doesn't matter, it's all right. So the next thing that I do is I look at the existence of inverse. So what I do is so here I look at every element. So let's say, so I find in the composition table that 1 star 1 is 1, 2 star 4 is 1. So what I do is I look at all those elements which result in 1. So let me just mark them for you. So let's take a different color, pencil. Let's take this color, it's a beautiful color. So that's too thick. That should do it. Opacity. Yeah. So I have 1 over here. I have 1 over here. That's for the second column. For the third column, I have 1 over here. For the fourth column, I have 1 over here. For the fifth column, I have 1 over here. And for the sixth column, 1 right over there. So I have 6 ones over here. Now, what are the elements that give me 1? 1 star 1 gives me 1. 4 star 2 gives me 1. 5 star 3 gives me 1. 2 star 4 gives me 1. 3 star 5 gives me 1. And finally, 6 star 6 gives me 1. So these are the elements that I have, So these are the elements that I had listed down here. So 1 star 1 gives me 1. 2 star 4 gives me 1. 4 star 2 gives me 1, 3 star 5 gives me 1, 5 star 3 gives me 1, and 6 star 6 gives me 1. Another thing that you will notice is 2 star 4 and 4 star 2 both give you 1. Similarly, 3 star 5 and 5 star 3 both give you 1. So from this portion as well, you can say that the operation under consideration is commutative operation, because 4 star 2 is the same as 2 star 4, 3 star 5 is the same as 5 star 3. These are specific examples where you can say that the commutative property of the binary operation holds. A star B is equal to B star A. They are both the same. They give the same result, 1 here. So if A star B is 1, then did I just do something? So when I say A star B is 1, I define A inverse as B or B inverse as A. That is what I was thinking. Do I define it as A inverse is B or B inverse as A? Because A times B is 1 and it's commutative, so it doesn't matter. So if it's 1 star 1 is 1, then 1 inverse will be 1. Again, if 2 star 4 is 1, then 2 inverse is 4. If 4 star 2 is 1, then 4 inverse is 2. If 3 star 5 is 1, then 3 inverse is 5. If 5 star 3 is 1, then 5 inverse is 3. And finally, if 6 star 6 is 1 inverse, then 6 inverse is also 6. Now you see, I have existence of 1 inverse, I have existence of 2 inverse, I have existence of 3 inverse, I have existence of 4 inverse, 5 inverse, and 6 inverse. So all these inverses, they exist, first. Second is, every inverse, as in 2 inverse is 4, 4 inverse is 2. 3 inverse is 5, 5 inverse is 3. 1 inverse is 1, which essentially means 1 inverse is also 1. And 6 inverse is 6, which also again means 6 inverse is 6. So the fact that there is an existence of inverse is very evident from the appearance of the composition table itself. I don't even need to do any calculation, and I can say that the composition table says that there is an existence of inverse numbers. So essentially, it ensures that is what I've written here. It ensures that all elements of S are invertible. So you see, looking at the composition table, you can see all these properties of the binary operation.